Chapter 7, The Basement of Horrors. The apartment was in chaos, as usual, but this time it wasn't just because of their laziness or Dexter's latest half-baked plan. This time, it was the sun's fault. Again. The solar flare warning had been blaring on Dexter's conspiracy-laced screens for hours, with red flashing alerts screaming. Warning, catastrophic solar flare imminent. Dexter, pacing the apartment like a doomsday preacher, was in full panic mode. We're toast. Literal toast. The solar flare's gonna fry our brains, scramble our Wi-Fi, and melt us like butter. Lola was nervously misting her drooping plants. Oh no, my poor babies. They can't survive another solar flare. They'll be crispy. Bella, half-heartedly scrolling through Instagram, groaned. I'll swear, if I get sunburned from inside the house, I'm suing the sun. No one wrinkles this face. Chip, sprawled out on the couch, barely moved. Can't we just turn on the ALC and ride it out? I'm too lazy to deal with this apocalypse crap right now. Dexter's eyes were wide with terror. The AC's not gonna save us from this. We're gonna have to go underground. Bella raised an eyebrow. Underground? Dude, we're dogs, not gophers. No, I mean the basement. Dexter shouted, pointing dramatically toward the stairs in the hallway. It's our only chance. We gotta get below the surface before this flare turns us into crispy nuggets. Chip groaned as he slowly peeled himself off the couch. The basement? Are you serious? That place smells like someone took a dump. We don't have a choice. Dexter snapped. If we stay up here, we're toast. Basement or bust. Bella looked disgusted and terrified, but even she knew the solar flare threat was real. Fine. But I'm telling you now, if we end up down there and it smells like ass, I'm going back to roasting. Down in the basement. As they stepped into the basement, the diarrhea-drenched air hit them like a punch in the face. The smell was worse than they could have imagined, an unbearable stench of pissed on shit stew, shat on piss stains, and shitty piss shat with pissy shit piss on the side. It wasn't just bad. It was apocalyptic. What? In the hell? Chip gagged, covering his nose with his paw. Bella's eyes watered. I knew it. This place smells like someone pissed on a turd down here. Lola whimpered, why does it smell like this? Dexter was the first to start piecing it together. His eyes darted around the basement, stained, filthy, and dark in a way that didn't seem natural. Wait. Everyone, be honest. Have any of you been using the basement as, like, an emergency bathroom? The room went silent. The dogs exchanged guilty glances. Lola, hesitating, raised a paw. I thought I was the only one. Chip coughed. Yeah, same. I've marked a few corners. But it was only when it was, really urgent. Bella, avoiding eye contact, mumbled, I might've left a couple of morning deuces down here during my early a.m. crapper rush. Dexter groaned, smacking his forehead. So, we've all been secretly pissing and shitting down here for years. The full reality of the situation hit them like a brick. The basement wasn't just a disaster, it was a toxic wasteland. The entire floor was covered in unidentifiable stains, ancient piles of petrified poop patties, and puddles of God knows what week's dinner's mud but mayhem. Well, Dexter said, dry heaving. This explains the smell. We've basically been turning the basement into a sewer for years without even realizing it, Lola cringed. We're horrible. I feel like I should apologize to my ancestors, Chip muttered, holding his nose. Bella shook her head. This is worse than I could have imagined. No wonder we never come down here. Chip's stomach rumbled. This place smells so bad it's making me hungry. I don't know if that's sad or concealing. Bella rolled her eyes, trying to sit as far away from Dexter as possible. You're disgusting. How are we supposed to survive in this sewage pit? Dexter, still holding out hope, tried to stay optimistic. Tea's not that bad. You just have to get used to it. We can play games to pass the time. Or meditate. Lola, curled up near a corner, whimpered. I think my lungs are being poisoned. As they tiptoed around the mess, trying to find a somewhat clean corner to hide in, a strange sound echoed from the far side of the room. What was that? Lola whispered, her ears twitching. The dogs froze. There was a shuffling noise, followed by a low, wet gurgle. Tell me that was just a pipe or something. Chip said, looking around nervously. But then, out of the shadows, something horrifying began to emerge. A man. Or at least, something man-shaped. It was made entirely out of shit. Oh my God. Bella screamed, stumbling backward. What's that? I'm on. Made of shit? The creature, covered in layers of brown, gooey sludge, moved slowly toward them, its feet squishing into the foul, stained floor. It gurgled again, raising one muck-covered arm. It's the shitman. Dexter shouted. Runny panic spread through the group like wildfire. The dogs scattered, running in all directions to avoid the disgusting figure that seemed to lurch after them with every step. The air was thick with the smell of their years-old mess, and now it had come to Fesimhow. One thought we were hiding from the sun, not this. Chip cried, darting behind a stack of boxes. Why is it moving? Lola shrieked, trying to climb onto an old chair for safety. Why is there a man made of poop? The shitman groaned, its voice a wet, gurgling mess. It didn't speak, but the dogs were convinced it had only one goal, to kill them. Do you think it's mad about all the times we used the basement? Bella asked, trying to stay out of reach. Is it like revenge? Who cares why? Dexter yelled. We just need to get out of here before it kills us. As the shitman lurched closer, it let out a low, rumbling growl, if you could call it that, before collapsing into a grotesque heap of sludge, sinking into the floor with a wet splat. The dogs froze, staring at the remains of the creature. Did it just melt? Chip asked, eyes wide in disbelief. Lola cautiously sniffed the air. One think. It's gone. Dexter, still panting from the adrenaline, leaned against the wall. WL. Hat was disgusting. The group stood in silence, staring at the pile of goo that had once been their basement's vengeful guardian. They carefully made their way back upstairs, the horrible stench stilingering in their fur and the image of the shitman bummed into their minds forever. The Gen Z dogs had learned a harsh lesson: the basement isn't a safe haven. Ts also your toilet. Chip, fanning himself with a pizza box again, grumbled, great. Back to square one. What's next? Do we bribe the sun?